In this CDX user tutorial, we're going to take a look at a tool called item analysis. And item analysis in CDX presents processed quiz data in a way suitable for instructors to analyze that data in two ways. First, to analyze each question for quality, clarity, and accuracy. And second, to analyze each question to identify weaknesses in class or program comprehension, mostly to identify theory and concepts that need to be reviewed with the students. We'll take a look at that a little bit further on. And in order to access this tool, you need to log into your CDX site using your CDX teacher account, or you can log in with your CDX supervisor account and switch your role to teacher. For this, I'm actually going to log in with my teacher account. And then I'm going to navigate into my live vehicle site. This is the same for MLR. And then we're going to navigate to the test that we want to use item analysis with. Now, item analysis can be used on any quiz or any test inside of your CDX site. So for this example, I'm going to go into Foundation and Safety, and then we're going to look at the Hazards and Emergencies topic group quiz. Now, the key thing about item analysis is that it analyzes the responses of quiz attempts. So item analysis is only available for use on a quiz that actually has attempts in it. So if for some reason you can't get to the item analysis data, chances are your students haven't taken the quiz yet. For this Hazards and Emergencies quiz, we have 57 attempts, so this will give us actually a lot of good data to work with. So if we click on the attempts, it's in blue and it's clickable. We open this up, and here's our main info page that gives us all of the quizzing data for the students. If we look up here beneath all of our info tabs, we have this option here called Item Analysis, and if we click on that, that is going to open up the Item Analysis table. Now, if you have groups set up in your CDX site, you can look at this data based on your grouped participants, which can be helpful if you want to look at the item analysis data on a classroom level. And looking at this table, let me just tell you what's here. We have the question number in the far left-hand side, then the question text, the answer text in the next column, and then these last ones are the ones that we're actually going to spend most of our time looking at. The correct answer is shown in blue, incorrect answers are shown in red. For multiple choice here, we have a true false as our first option. And if we look at these columns, we have the R counts, which shows how many times each answer was chosen. So for this true false question, true was selected 16 out of 40 times, false was selected 20 out of 40 times. The R% shows the equivalent percentage of how many students chose that answer, so we have a 40 and 50% split, and then the percent correct facility shows the percentage of correct answers for that question. So obviously these 50% of students, there's a 50% correct facility. You can arrange the item analysis results by clicking on the text of each category, and it will arrange it low to high or high to low as indicated by the black arrow beneath the text. So if I click on percent correct facility, this is going to rearrange the data for us, and you see this small black arrow is currently pointing downward, and that is going to sort the data, the percent correct data, from low to high. Using this is ideal for reviewing questions that gave students the most trouble. So in this case, we have this particular question. It's a true-false question, and we see that there's a 65% failure rate on this question. Shows that only 29% of the students who took this test got this answer correct. Sorting the data by percent correct facility from low to high, like we've just done, is the quickest way to identify weaknesses in class or program comprehension. And when you look at data like that, that can be useful for teachers to say, we should probably go back in class and take a look at that question again and try and figure out why 65% of the students answered it incorrectly. If we want to do the exact opposite of what we've just done and look at which questions the students answered most correctly, we can click on the blue percent correct facility text again. That arrow is going to reverse, and then that's going to be showing us the results from high to low. When we do that, we can see that on this particular quiz, this multiple choice question, 93% of the students who took this quiz got this question correct. Sometimes when you sort the percent correct facility data from low to high, you'll wind up with results that are showing 0%. This confuses a lot of instructors, and I want to take a second to talk about that. In this particular question, we have 0 out of 4 students who chose the correct answer. Further down, we have 2 out of 4 students who chose an incorrect answer, and that shows us that there's a 50% failure rate. But the issue is that we don't have two other choices. If indeed we had 4 students who were asked this question, it would seem that we would have 4 answers. In all actuality, what this data shows us is that 2 out of the 4 students guessed on what the answer was, and they chose the incorrect answer, and the other 2, the other 50%, didn't choose an answer at all. So if you ever sort the percent correct facility data from low to high and you're showing 0%, take a look at the total number of students who were asked the question as opposed to the number of results that there are. And if there's a discrepancy there, you know that students were asked a particular question, but they didn't answer the question. In some cases, when you're looking at the item analysis table and you're taking a look at some of the different questions, you may realize that part of the reason for the failure rate of the quiz question is just a difference in teaching. I know that in some cases there will be times where teachers will say, I understand why my students answered this question incorrectly, and it's because I either taught it differently or I worded it differently, etc. Is there anything I can do to fix it? And the convenient thing about item analysis and the item analysis table is that you can edit quiz questions right from this particular interface. So for instance, if we decided that this question should indeed have the answer of true instead of the answer of false, then the one student who answered this question should in fact get a full grade for that. If we come over here to the far left column where it shows us the question number, and this question number is in blue text, I can click on this and it's going to open it up in a second window. If I expand this out a little bit, we can see that we are editing a multiple choice question, and that we can edit the question, move the question, and then save it as a new question if we want to create a duplicate. Since the only thing we're looking to do is switch the grade, we're just going to scroll on down here. In the general section, we have the question name, which you should not edit. This question name should never change. Otherwise, it will become disconnected from the quiz and you won't be able to see it. And down here in this main box, we have what the question text is. And further down in the choices, we are going to have choice 1 and choice 2, which are both true and false. Now, in this case, we have decided that we want to reverse the grade so that true is actually the correct answer and false is the incorrect answer. To do this, I'm going to take the true answer, change this grade from none to 100%, and from the false answer, we're going to change this from false, from 100% to none. This essentially reverses the ruling of the grade. That way the true answer is now receiving 100% grade and the false answer is receiving no grade at all. Now once we've done this, the most important thing that we have to do is scroll down to the bottom of this window and click Save Changes. If we don't click Save Changes, nothing's going to change. Once I've done that, it would seem that once we hit save and close that it would take us back to the item analysis table, but we have to remember that this opened up as a second window. So if we go up to the corner, we hit the X, we close this out, we're back at item analysis. Now you'll notice that nothing has actually changed, and that's because the item analysis table isn't going to auto update. So in order to see the change as we want it, we need to come up here to the top just below the results tab and click regrade. When we click regrade, you're probably going to get something like this that pops up and it's a bunch of coding data. You can ignore that, come back up to the top and click item analysis again, and it'll take us back to the item analysis table. Now we can see that the question that we were working on is no longer here, and that's because we've got the data sorted from low to high, and since we changed that and reversed it, that's actually going to be in a different section. So if we reverse this, we can see that this same question that we were working on, TQ0003, is now showing true as opposed to false, where before false was the correct answer, now true is the correct answer, and the student is receiving the grade that he should. Now, if we decide that isn't actually what we wanted, and we made an error in changing it, or we decided that we reversed our opinion on that, we can go back into the question number and reverse what we just did. If we take a look at this, scroll down here, we're going to change true back to none, and change the false answer from none back to 100, and scroll down to the bottom, click Save Changes, close this second window that this opened up in, and then we want to remember to click Regrade. That way the results are correct. Again, the coding data is going to show up. We're going to ignore that, click Item Analysis up here at the top. That's going to take us back to the Item Analysis table. And then if we go back and we sort this data from low to high again, we can see that this same question, TQ0003, is showing reverse of what we wanted, which is how it was originally. So you have the option when you're looking at item analysis and you're taking a look at your class's performance overall. If you decide that a question needs to be edited or a question grade needs to be changed class-wide, you have the option to do that in the item analysis table by clicking on the question number on the left-hand side. This concludes our tutorial of the item analysis tool inside of CDX. It provides valuable feedback on your students' comprehension and retention. More importantly, it identifies concepts that are in need of review, and it allows teachers to evaluate the effectiveness of each test question, and if needed, allows the teacher to edit the question and regrade accordingly.